Hi, this video is all about loneliness and what is the reason for loneliness and what can we do to alleviate it. My name is Jennifer van Wyck and I'm a psychotherapist, a humanitarian, and a best-selling author. And it's my mission in life to really help people understand their emotions so that they know how to use them, process them, and hopefully move through them. So first of all, what is loneliness? I mean, I think everyone experiences loneliness at some point in their life. And it's certainly a topic that has come up between my family and my friends and myself even lately, which is why I'm making this video. It's not just because we don't have friends, for example, although that is an increasing struggle for many people in North America and in the Western world especially. But loneliness can even be felt when you're in a marriage or when you have a lot of friends. And so it's not just about the amount of friends or the quality of friends you have. Loneliness instead is actually an indicator that you need to feel connected, that there's a disconnect between you and others, you and yourself, or you and nature, living beings around you. So really, whenever you feel lonely, you don't have to go into that spiral of there's something wrong with me, I'm never going to be loved, I'm never going to be happy, that sort of thing. It's really just a signpost, like all of our emotions. It's a signpost that you need to do something right now to just help you feel connected in an emotional way to, as I said, others or nature or animals, something in that nature. So what can you do? Since we know it's a signal to connect, there's different levels of connection and different levels of how nourishing they are for us. First, it depends on your vulnerability. When you are stone-faced and you just connect with others on an intellectual level, that can be nourishing, but it's much less nourishing than when you connect on an emotional level or heart-to-heart level. If you want some guidance on how to do a heart connection, please check out my video on exactly that visualization guiding you through how to do a heart connection. The idea about vulnerability is really that you don't want to be vulnerable with people that are going to use that against you or that are unsafe, right? So I'm not saying just tell the stranger beside you on the bus all of your deepest fears. There's different levels of trust that people earn through your relationship with them through time, right? And of those people who have earned that trust, you can then open up more and more emotionally. If you know that they are safe, they won't use it against you, right? So vulnerability, Brene Brown has so much phenomenal work on vulnerability and how absolutely essential and important it is, right? And there's also ways to make sure you're appropriately being vulnerable, right? So I'll give you kind of different levels of connection and how they can help and why there's different levels. So first, which I think is more increasingly common, is connecting through text or connecting through social media through text, right? And this is a level of connection, and it can actually vary in degrees, especially for younger generations who've really grown up with social media since they were little. It's easier to connect on social media because it's easier to be vulnerable, because if someone rejects you, it doesn't hurt as much because you don't really know them as much. But also, since there's not so much skin in the game, it does mean that that type of connection is not as nourishing a connection as other types of connection. So social media definitely fills that thing. If you're feeling lonely, you can reach out and have text conversations with other people. It can be very useful, especially if you're being very honest and genuine and authentic. But it can often not be that fulfilling. Better than nothing, but not the bee's knees. The next form of connection, there's been a lot of research that actually shows it's an interesting one, and there's some dynamics there, but it's interactions with strangers. There's lots of research that shows that when you smile or have a small conversation with somebody on the bus, it actually lowers people's level of depression, right? So just having those little conversations. France is actually one of the wonderful countries that I know of where there's constantly, it's very normal to just talk to strangers. Usually you're complaining and they connect through complaining, but there's still that connection, right? So it's really wonderful. But even just smiling at people, especially strangers that aren't there to give you a service. So you can certainly talk to the coffee barista, but that will be less nourishing or feel like less preventative of feeling lonely than should you talk to the person behind you in the lineup. Yes, again, there needs to be appropriateness, and there's social boundaries and social norms that we need to acknowledge and possibly fall into. But when there's respectful interaction between you and a stranger, it can really make your day, lighten up your day for hours, right? Another way to connect, which is, I think, above connecting with strangers, is meditation. And as I mentioned, I've got a heart connection meditation that can really guide you through this. But just understanding, taking that time to connect to your own heart is absolutely invaluable and very necessary, and is something that you have to do over and over and over again. You can't just eat one meal and then you're fine for life, or work out once and then you're fit for life. Same with connecting to your heart. You can't just connect to your heart once and then it's fine. It needs to be a practice that is done regularly, and it creates and increases that relationship that you have with your heart. Also in this, another meditation that I have actually is either the grounding meditations. And both of those meditations are ways that you can actually connect with the earth. For many highly sensitive empaths, which is a topic that I've really delved into, connecting with nature, animals, is really important and really nourishing, and something that is essential for highly sensitive empaths. Nature, animals, there's such a different quality of connection, and it's always surrounding us. So when we can feel that we can connect with that, it really helps diminish the feeling of loneliness, regardless of where you are or what your situation is. Then a better or more impactful way to connect is talking on the phone with people. It's better than texting. Hearing someone's voice, understanding their nuances, being able to have quick one-on-one dialogue, focusing just on one person and having them also focus directly on you. Oftentimes I will talk to people and I can tell exactly right away when they're reading something else or their attention has diverted, even though they're still responding to me. And so it's really important to have that one-on-one connection. You know, it makes such a difference, and it makes us feel so impactful when someone is setting their attention on us. Just even being looked at, being seen is really what that feeling of loneliness is asking for, to be seen, right? So talking on the phone, having a video call is even better. Technology these days has really increased, and seeing people's faces can really help alleviate any sort of miscommunication. We know that body language is actually, I think, 70% of how people communicate. And so having that video interaction can be even better than talking on the phone. Next level is hanging out in a group setting. This can be really wonderful, just hanging out with the groups, having lots of interactions. That's why people go to sporting events. That's why people go to parties and pubs and tea shops and malls, shopping malls, right? It's to be with others. As humans, we are social beings. I've fought being a social being. I've really wanted to be an island when I was in my youth, and it was horrible. It's not possible. As much as I might want to be independent and not have to depend on other people's approval or interactions with me, if I cut myself off from others, which I really tried to do, it only resulted in me spiraling into a deep depression. And I don't think I'm unique in this. There's something about humans, I don't know what it is and why, but we really need that social interaction. So hanging out with a group of people, again, where you're seen a little bit, right? And they see you, you see them. And then the best way of connecting is certainly talking one-on-one with somebody, having a conversation. Again, this can be on the phone, but in person is even more powerful. There's something about being in the same vicinity as somebody and having a conversation where it's not just about the weather or sporting teams or politics or anything else, even religion, although religion and politics can be great ways to share what your thoughts and emotions are. Connecting with others is really having your heart open and embodying what you're saying. So I can say something like, I'm so happy I'm here today, where there's a disconnect between what I'm saying and what I'm feeling. Maybe, I actually am really happy I'm here today, but can you see that difference after what I just said? You can feel that I'm feeling the happiness of being here today. So it's not just what you say, it's when what you say, you're embodying it at the same time. You're feeling what you say at the same time that you're saying it. And that is how you really connect one-on-one with people. Again, electronics can really minimize this. If people are on their phone or they're talking to you and then all of a sudden they check their phone, it's certainly like, it really, for me, cuts off a conversation right away because I automatically feel that they're not interested in what I'm saying, or I'm not important, or some other thought or a self-limiting belief that will come up, right? So it's really important that there's some engagement, and even it doesn't have to be for 8 hours at a time, but just actually there's a New York Times article that said just 8 minutes a day, just talking one-on-one with somebody where there's no other distraction. And you're just talking and connecting, talking about your thoughts and your beliefs and your feelings on something. It could be your beliefs about or your feelings about your favorite lunch. The topic isn't important, but it's just the fact that you're sharing what's really true for you and what's real for you. And that's how you can really connect with other people. I would love to hear if you have other ideas or strategies that have worked for you that helps you really connect to people, what you think maybe loneliness has taught you. Again, I don't think there's any bad emotion. They just are different signposts telling us different messages. And it's our choice of whether we listen to that or not. Often as somebody who was born with a lot of anxiety, I don't listen to the anxiety signposts so much, but it does tell me that I do need to take time to ground. And so as somebody who travels all the time, often by myself, I have really struggled with loneliness, and it comes in waves. It's not something that's constant or really makes my life miserable. But I do know that when I have that feeling of loneliness, it's time for me to meditate, to connect to my heart, to reach out to some of my friends or my family members or any loved one in whatever way that's possible for me in that moment. So I hope this video is helpful for you. If you like it, please like and subscribe down below, and I'll see you soon.